Today, I'd like to follow up on comments about Oceanside's climate action plan. At recent council meetings, I showed that the experts can be wrong and that many scientists are not convinced about man-made climate change. I also showed that experts can be unduly influenced by financial incentives. I then noted that climate change can be used as a political excuse to justify policies that otherwise would not be acceptable, thus suggesting the political motive for a climate change narrative. At the last council meeting, a speaker stated that 97% of scientists believe in man-made climate change. I'd point out that 3% who disagree are an important counterweight to the groupthink, and their concerns should be heard. But the fact is that none of us here tonight have the expertise to prove or disprove this theory. For this reason, the proper level of focus for this council is only the cost-benefit analysis in setting municipal policy for Oceanside. Let's consider the outcomes. Let's first assume that the dire predictions about climate change are correct. In this case, we should first determine our contribution to the global problem. In 2022, total greenhouse gases produced globally were 37.1 billion tons. That's billion with a B. That same year, the United States averaged 15.3 tons per person. With a population of about 175,000 people, Oceanside produced an estimated 2.7 million tons of greenhouse gases. That was only 0.0072% of the global total. As a visual analogy, if global emissions were a mountain 13,857 feet high, Oceanside's contribution would have been 1 foot. If Oceanside could reduce its emissions to zero, then we would reduce global emissions by only 0.0072%. If we did nothing, we would only contribute that amount to the global problem. The undisputable result is that any policy set by Oceanside will have no practical impact on this global problem. Oceanside's actions are irrelevant. The result will be the same in either case. From a cost-benefit perspective, the best choice for Oceanside is to take no action and avoid the expenses of greenhouse gas reductions. Now, let's assume that the dire predictions about climate change are not correct. In this case, any money spent to curb CO2 emissions is wasted. From this, then, the best choice for Oceanside is, again, to take no action. Thus, from a cost-benefit perspective, in all cases, the best choice for Oceanside is to spend no resources on curbing greenhouse gases. Any local actions by Oceanside will not mitigate the global risk. There is no local analog to solving this problem. It is either solved globally or not at all. Only greater political bodies with authority over larger areas could possibly make a meaningful impact on this global issue. Therefore, the only proper focus for our local council is to do what is realistically best for Oceanside. That means recognizing our limits and staying within them. It is as true for global climate change as it is for international statements about foreign wars. Some have argued that we need to do our part. We all have to do our part. But from all of this, it is clear that Oceanside cannot impact this issue by itself under any circumstances. For that reason, the proper climate action plan for Oceanside should be a simple one. We will comply with state and federal laws on these matters, but go absolutely no further than required by law. Let me say that again. We should comply with state and federal laws on these matters, but go absolutely no further than required by law. Thank you.